Hello everyone, welcome to AWS Tutorials. In AWS Tutorials, we provide workshop and exercises to learn about AWS services. These workshop and exercises are published to our website aws-dozo.com. Today I'm going to talk about a new service announced by AWS. It is called Glue DataBrew. So first we'll do a small introduction about the service, and then I want to show a demo of the service itself. So, if you go and check the AWS Glue Data Brew documentation, it is a visual data preparation tool which data engineers and data scientists can use to transform their data without writing any single line of code. So when you are working with your data, you might want to clean your data, remove blank spaces, or fill blank spaces with, say, most frequently used value. You might want to merge your data. You might want to apply some kind of formula on your data to transform it to some other value. When you are doing this kind of data cleansing, transformation, normalization, if you are using DataBrew, you can do it without writing even a single line of code. DataBrew supports more than 250 built-in transformations, which data engineers and scientists can use to cleanse and normalize the data. So we will have a demo about DataBrew soon, but before that, let's understand some of the core concepts of DataBrew. So one of the core concepts of DataBrew is data set. And data set represents a data which is stored either in the S3 bucket or into, say, Redshift database or RDS database. In fact, any data which has been cataloged into Glue catalog can be represented through the data set. And data set actually represent the actual data you want to perform the transformation. So once you have data, generally you want to see the data profile. And when I say data profile, it generally means you want to see the unique values, the blank spaces, the distribution of the data, a relationship between data. Those kind of things you can check with the data profile. In this demo today, I'm not going to cover data profile, but I promise to come back with that part sometime soon. So once you have a data in your data set and you want to perform some kind of transformation on the data, then you create projects. And so one project means you can say a set of transformation you want to perform on a data set. And how do you perform such transformation? By using recipe. So as I mentioned earlier, that there are more than 250 built-in transformation. So what you can do that within project, you can have a recipe, and recipe can have multiple transformation steps. Okay, so multiple transformation steps. So each step can perform one particular transformation. So again, let's take example. Your step one could be remove all the null value rows or blank rows. Step two could be let's merge these two columns into a single column. Your step three could be let's create a inner join with another data set. Yeah, so you can create multiple such transformation as a steps within your recipe, and then this recipe actually is a part of the project, and this project actually represents the bundle of transformation you want to perform on the data set. So once you have created your project with the kind of transformation you want to do by configuring the recipe, it's a very interesting concept in the sense that when you do that actually, and the way the project and recipe work is that you can in DataBrew actually perform the transformation. You can preview how the data is going to look like, and then you can apply the transformation as well. Yeah? You can do all those kind of things. And that's where it becomes more interesting because if you create such transformation, which is like very interactive transformation you are creating, and then you realize, so this is something I want to make a repeatable job. This is something I would like to schedule to run once in a day on my data. then you can convert this whole transformation within the project to a job. And this job then can be scheduled, and yeah, based on the schedule of the job, you can keep automatically transforming your data the way you have configured into your project. Now, when you're doing this whole data set to project to recipe to job, actually, if you want to see this, how this whole lineage look like, yeah, where the data started, what transformation you added to that, no, you created a job, then job gave an output. If you want to check this whole lineage, you can use data lineage for that purpose. So we are going to see everything in a demo today. Only part which I'm not covering today is the data profile part, because I think it needs its separate attention. So we are going to move to demo first. Before I move on to demo, just to give a quick introduction about aws-dojo.com. It's our website where we provide workshop and exercises to learn about AWS. Each of these workshop and exercises actually implement a particular scenario. By implementing that particular scenario, you'll learn about AWS services. So without wasting any more time, let's go and see the demo. So what I have done here, this is my AWS console, and here we have created a bucket called Dojo Customers. And in this bucket, I have already added a customers.csv file. This I'm going to use as my source data on which I want to perform my data transformation. So if I go to DataBrew and say, okay, I want to first create a data set, connect to a new data set. I want to give this a name called Dojo data set. And then you can see here, I can connect data source from, I can upload from the file as well, by the way. And I can connect through the multiple sources. And most important thing is that if you have cataloged your data, suppose you have built a data lake or something like that, and you want to have cataloged your data into Glue table, you can use that as a source as well. But in this case, I'm going to use S3 as a source. So I simply select S3 Dojo customers. And then it shows there are one file inside that folder, a bucket and folder. So you select that one. And then you simply say, I want to create the data set. And the data set is created. If you click open the data set, you can see, in fact, you can see your data preview. So here you can see the data which is stored into in the S3 bucket. Now, at this point of time, I can create a data profile, which I said I will not cover today, but I want to create a project with this data set because I want to apply certain transformation on this data set and then finally convert that into a repeatable job. So let's click on create a project with the data set. I give this a project a nice name, say Dojo project. Okay. And when you create a Dojo project, it creates a recipe as well within the project. Now here you can see that I can select some existing recipe, and I will talk about that later. Actually, recipe is something which you can make repeatable, actually, reusable. In fact, not repeatable, reusable. But let's park it for now. I will come back to that point later. So here we go. So we call this is my project. This is how my recipe will be created. Recipe name. Then I'm saying I'm using Dojo data set. And they said, okay, what role this DataBrew will have. So now DataBrew is going to likely do a lot of things. It will create a job, end of day, it's going to play with the data. So it needs certain access rights, okay? And for that, we create a role. So what you do, actually, you can go and click on, and you can create a role earlier, and you can configure here, or you can click on create a new role over here. When you click on creating a new role, actually, it gives you a JSON file, which you should use to create the policy, and then you create a role for DataBrew. That I have already done here. So if I come over here, you can see that I have created this Dojo DataBrew role. And that has got this policy, and this policy I have created using the same JSON file. If I click on this policy, I want to show you what access right it has, actually, just a quick view on that. So you can see here that it has got access right to Dojo customers database. sorry, not database, Dojo customers bucket, where it can basically get and put and delete objects primarily and list objects. Then it uses some internal access to some other internal usage bucket. It needs access to Glue. It needs access to EC2 instance. It needs access to CloudWatch log, and so on and so forth, and lake formation. So it needs certain access, and that's why DataBrew has provided a template. You simply take that template. Only thing you modify in the template is this bucket name where you have kept your data, and rest you keep as it is. Create a policy with that, and then create a role, like in this case, Dojo data brew role. And this role we are going to use to authorize DataBrew to perform any action. So if I come back to this page again, I think I already have a role in place. So I'll simply go and select this role over here, which I've already created to save time. So now what we have got here is the project name, the recipe. This is a data set. This is the role. Now I can create the project. So when I start creating the project, actually, it's going to actually set up the whole environment behind the scene, which is, it will give you a compute power behind the scene, and it will set up the whole framework so that if you convert your transformation into the job, then it has the required runtime to run the jobs and so on. And it also provides an interactive session so that you can you can initiate your session so that you can interactively transform your data and work with it. So it's using big data behind the scene, and for that it's creating the whole resources as a part of the project initiation. So it will take few more seconds hopefully, and then the whole environment should be ready. So almost. So it's also generating, by the way, data statistics. That each data it will generate statistics, and I'm going to talk about that as well. So you can see the environment is up and running. So let's get familiar with that. So first thing first, you can see here, you can see your data over here. This is your whole data. Each column in the data, it provides some general statistics about the data. So for instance, unique values, and sometimes it shows distribution as well. And you can actually go and change what kind of statistics you want to see here as well. Now, if you see on the top hand side, these are the various transformations you can provide. These are the various transformations you can add to your data. So a few simple ones are looking for the missing value, looking for the duplicate values, splitting a particular column into two based on certain formula, merging two columns into one. Using functions, and if you look at the functions, I mean, it provides really a great set of functions all the way to mathematics, to aggregation, to text, to date function you can use to manipulate your column values. You can also play with multiple data sets. So for instance, if you have more than one data set and you want to join them column wise or union them row wise, you can do that as well. You can also do the grouping of the data. So really a great number of transformations you can do with your data in the DataBrew. And these transformations, I think there are more than 250 transformations at this point of time. So now what you see other here is that, let me close this window here. You see steps to, so you can see on the right hand side we have a recipe, and this recipe is where you add your transformation as your steps. And when you can add multiple steps, that means you can add multiple transformations over here. And when you do that, actually and then when you convert this into job, actually the job will apply all those transformations in the sequence you have provided here in the steps. So let's try to add some transformation here. So I want to merge two columns to keep it very simple for now. So simply click on I want to merge two columns and say, okay, which two columns I want to merge. So just to show you here, I have this contact last name and contact first name. These I want to merge together to convert, say, contact name column. So I say, okay, fine. I'm going to use this contact first name, last name, um, any segregator. So let's use space as a segregator. And then my merged column is called, say, contact name. And so now I have added my transformation. Before I apply, which will go and change the data itself, actually, I want to preview the changes. So if I click on, I want to preview the changes, it will show you a preview of what changes you're applying. And you can see the preview over here is saying that this column will be deleted. This column will be deleted. So your first name and last name column will be deleted. And this new column, contact name, which will have value like this, which is a concatenation of this and this, will be the output, another column added. So this looks good to me. So I'll simply go and apply. And when I apply, what happens is that my changes to data has been applied. You can see here my two columns has been removed, and I have got a contact name, one more column added. And if you see here in the recipe part, you can see that you have got now one step added, which is basically merging these two columns into a new column called contact name. Similarly, you can add more steps because you might want to perform more than one data transformation. And in that case, you can add that as a part of the recipe. Now, one very important thing here, which I talked about earlier, but I said I will discuss this later, is called recipe publishing. So when you create this recipe right now, you see here is very much local to the project. Only this project is using this recipe. But suppose you created a recipe which you think, it's very reusable, even others can use it. And in that case, actually, you can click on this publish button over here and you can publish your recipe. When you publish your recipe, the other projects can add your recipe to reuse it. So not everyone has to build this logic again and again. You might have some reusable recipe which other projects can simply use it for their own transformation. So keep in mind your recipe could be a reusable component. So now that this is the only transformation I wanted to perform in this demonstration. Now I want to convert this into a job. So to do so, and why I want to convert into a job, because this I played with my data and I could see my source data, I can see my transform data. I'm happy with my transformation. Now, suppose this kind of data comes to you once every day and you want to automatically do this kind of transformation. In that case, you might want to create a job which will automatically run, say, once in a day, and it will automatically do the same transformation you just did on the visual tool. So in order to convert this into a job, you click on this create job button. And it will take you to a new screen called job details. And here we give it a name. So we call it Dojo job. And then we come with down here. It says, okay, this is the recipe I'm using. This is the data set I'm using. So where do you want to put the output data? In this case, I want to put into the same bucket where our Dojo customers bucket, where our source data is. Now here you can add some additional configuration, which is optional, which is can you configure, if you want to configure any kind of custom partition or any kind of encryption, you can provide over here. Further down, what permission this job will have, what role you want to assign to the job so that it has permission to perform the job. I was simply going to reuse the role I used for the brew. Then additional settings you can do is that in the job settings, you can add actually more compute power and a number of retries and timeouts kind of things. And if you go to the schedule, actually you can schedule this job so that you can run this job repeatable based on the schedule to automatically transform your data, which I'm not doing here because today I want to simply create the job and manually run it. Now I click on create and run job. What it will do, it will convert the whole transformation into a job and it will start running it. Ideally, you might want to create a job and you schedule it, because you might want to run it on certain schedule to do the transformation. But today, for the demo, I'm simply running this manually. So now we have to wait a bit till our transformation actually completes. I will keep refreshing it to see the status. But basically what is happening is that whatever transformation you have configured, that will be converted into a code, and then that will be submitted to a compute instance behind to perform the transformation automatically. So let's wait till the job finishes. Okay, so the job is successful now. You can see here the job is successful. Now, if I go and see my data again into my S3 bucket, which was Dojo customers, if I refresh here, I can see a new object which has been created, new folder created, in fact. And if I go to that folder and say I want to see the data, this is the data which is created. If I query this data, for instance, okay, I want to query this data which is created. This is also a CSV file, but because that is the configuration we provided in our job. So if I run this query, and if I see the output, you can see the output here that it has actually done the transformation where the last two columns, which are contact first name and last name, they are removed, and now this contact name has been added. So this was a good example to see how you can create a project in DataBrew, and then run your visual transformation on the fly. And once you're satisfied with your transformation, you convert that into a job, which then you can run based on schedule to do these transformations automatic. That was all for today, guys. Hope you liked the video. And if you liked the video, please click on the like button. Please subscribe to my channel. We provide such workshops, exercises, and video every couple of days. So please stay tuned to that. If you have any feedback, you can provide in the comment section of the YouTube video. And we look forward to your feedback for new content, for improvements, for new scenarios to be implemented. So meanwhile, that's all for today. And I promise to come back again with another such a video and tutorial in coming days. Meanwhile, stay safe and have a nice day. Bye bye.